ladies and gentlemen. We're back. It's another episode of Reliving the Lights, a Friday Night Lights rewatch podcast. My name is Josh Kuipers.
My name is Anthony Hookman.
We're going to talk about Friday Night Lights tonight. Hope you're all right with that. Anthony, I don't have to wonder what we're going to talk about before this episode because you just recently returned from Texas again. So let's hear about it. Give us the Texas experience.
Yeah, had never been there prior to us beginning the show.
Yeah.
And now I have been there twice within the last year.
Yeah.
Just barely. But I gotta say, nothing against Texas, but I really truly feel like the two cities that I've been in Texas, Dallas and Houston, and now, we drove back, so I experienced all these little small towns, and Waco, which is about Sioux Falls size.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever live in Texas.
Well, see, now you've gone to the two big cities that I like the least in Texas. You got to go to Austin. You got to go to San Antonio. Those are way better than Dallas. Sorry to Miles Kuiper and any other Texas listeners, but Dallas and Houston, nah.
Yeah,
but
they're just so sprawling.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I feel like you probably don't have this problem, but I get very anxious driving in cities. Especially cities that I don't know well.
Okay.
But even if I go to Minneapolis, I get a little on that highway in and out, that goes through Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
So just being in that area, I'm just there's so much. It just goes on forever. I will say we went to this suburb called the Woodlands, Texas, the suburb of Houston.
Yep.
Very nice seeming community.
Yeah.
So
that's where all the rich people live.
Right. Very, very nice areas, but man, I do have to check. We have to check out Austin. We have to go.
Yes, absolutely.
And do our Friday Night Lights trip at some point. But for now,
you're not rushing back to Texas.
I don't see myself. Even Waco felt like it felt like Brookings, like a small dying town that is only being kept alive by a major university. Well, yeah, and Joanna Gaines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what were some highlights though? I know you drank some Lone Star beer.
Yes, got to do it.
Yep. Did you have some barbecue?
We did have some barbecue, but only on our way back. Actually, we had barbecue in Wichita on the drive back, which was actually it was pretty good barbecue.
Yeah, I believe that.
No, I was bummed. I had intended. That's it was a must for me to get some barbecue, but we just didn't. We went to what I thought was. Angie had said it was a Cajun / barbecue place, but it turned out to just be a Cajun place, which is fine. It was good.
Yeah.
But didn't, and then, that was the day before the wedding. And then we just went out to a bar and ate bar food that night. Mm-hmm. And then what did we do for lunch the day of the wedding? I don't even remember. It couldn't have been that good. It wasn't that. I remember it wasn't barbecue. And then, gosh, what did we do that day? I was super hungover, so I I don't recall. But then there's a highlight that we can talk about in a moment. And then the night of the wedding we had wedding food, and it was it was good. But and then they had Whataburger come in at at 11 p.m.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but they didn't have the actual burgers. They had the chicken biscuits, which were good. Oh, but I was like, I want to try Whataburger. I want to try the burger. It's in the name.
Absolutely.
But it was a very fancy wedding. They had a bathroom attendant, which I have only experienced a few times in my life.
Nice.
The sink where you wash your hands in the bathroom was connected to the women's bathroom, so it's you put your hand under this kind of divider, and you could run into one of the ladies' hands.
Oh, I don't like that.
It was very weird.
Well, if you had to take a loud It's just open to the women's side.
I mean, but only this much. And
Okay.
like so if I'm standing up, it was like here.
Okay.
Put your hands in. It's just kind of this like, probably 3 feet wide, 4-inch tall little thing that had just water coming out of it, like below the mirror.
Yeah.
So actually, there was one point that, I have a relatively loud voice naturally. My just general speaking voice is very loud, and I could like hear Angie like, Anthony, is that you? Yeah, it was very interesting. One of the bartenders, shout out to Gabriel, shout out. I ordered an old fashioned, and he gave me a because they had like, it was an open bar, but only for certain liquors. And so I think their bourbon was Jim Beam. And I went up and ordered an old fashioned, and this guy goes, "You like Bullet Rye?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "1 second." He went to the back, and he was hooking me up with like good whiskey all night.
Nice.
With the old fashioned. So shout out to Gabriel.
Gabriel, what's up, man?
I slipped him a 20. And yeah, it was a fun wedding, but highlight, I will say, this bar PJ's that we went to. Did I send you the snap?
Yes, you did. I did see that. Yeah.
So
just for the viewers, he had a koozie there. Add one to the koozie collection.
Yeah, I actually grabbed 2 of these.
Or the listeners, not the viewers.
Yeah. There's this bar we went to. If you ever find yourself in Houston, Texas, listeners, in the Montrose neighborhood, I highly recommend checking out PJ's Sports Bar. Dude,
it looked creepy to me.
It was like it was clearly an old college party house that got repurposed. Yeah. It's literally like walking into a house. Like it's even got like a welcome thing on the door. And you walk in, and like there's a bar in what I suppose would be the living room.
Yeah.
And then you go up the stairs, and upstairs, they had a karaoke upstairs and just a bunch of tables and stuff. And like there was a few like pizza boxes. I couldn't tell if those were like decor or if they served pizza.
Yeah.
Or if it was, but it added to the atmosphere of the bar. It was spectacular. As we got there, the dude who was doing karaoke as we walked in was doing some like metal song, which was insane. I did Flagpole Sitta, which has kind of become my karaoke go-to because man, it just gets the people going.
Absolutely.
The vibes were there. And so very good time. Highly recommend PJ's Sports Bar in the Montrose neighborhood of Houston, Texas. Great time. And then I do have to mention, we drove back 2-day trip, back to South Dakota. I think it was all told like 16 hours, something like that. So we drove through all of Texas on our way back, Oklahoma, and then made it to just north of Wichita. The first day we stopped at the Oklahoma City bombing memorial. The museum was closed.
Boo.
Which I was very disappointed by because it was open till 5 and we got there at like 4:30, but they stopped selling tickets at 4 apparently.
Oh.
So just a heads up if you're ever going on a road trip to Oklahoma City. Right. But the outdoor memorial was very nice. We weren't originally, Waco wasn't even on our route. We went about 40 miles out of our way to go to Waco and then stop at Joanna Gaines's Magnolia Market for an hour and a half, which delayed us.
Yeah.
So,
which is the reason that you
couldn't go to
okay, gotcha.
Oklahoma City. Yeah, we couldn't go to the memorial. But
I did see that. Yeah.
The following day, we stopped in Abilene, Kansas, and visited the Eisenhower Presidential Library, and I got to say, loved it. I spent like 2.5 hours going through the museum, and like his like final resting place is there.
Okay, yeah.
His childhood home is there. It wasn't open at this time, like they're renovating it or whatever. But I bought some. We bought like a magnet, and I actually went against my usual rules and actually bought an Eisenhower koozie.
Right.
Yeah, I usually don't buy koozies, but and then. What else did I buy? Oh, and I bought a coffee mug too. So
nice.
So shout out to my boy Ike. Don't make him like this anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We'll just go jump right ahead and say we'll do an Anthony Gets Political segment.
Mhm.
You know, the man invented the basically
Interstates.
single-handedly the interstate system.
Yeah.
You know, if the Republican Party of today would shut that down, you know, his own party would shut that down.
Mhm.
Dude, absolutely ripped. Great, the last great Republican president.
There you go. I've never been to a presidential library. That's just like a library of like stuff they wrote and like their letters and correspondences and stuff. Or
so the
I think
library
it's like
itself,
documents, right?
the library itself it's a library. Yeah, it's like we actually couldn't go in the library
Mhm.
because they were like, oh yeah, that's only if you're here for like research.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, you know, who's going to Abilene, Kansas to do, you know, who is allowed in?
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, like there's a whole museum in there. I could have spent another like hour in there. Like by the time we got to the part where he was president, Angie's dad was texting us and was like, hey, how far are you guys in? So because he had already been there. So
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I could have easily spent another hour in there.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
So probably, well, I guess we won't have any more podcasts to talk about it, but I was going to say probably not any more Texas trips on the horizon for us to talk about on the podcast, but
maybe once we actually make it to Austin, we'll do a final actual bonus episode of Reliving the Lights. Yep.
All right, that sounds good. So what do you got in that PJ's koozie there tonight?
Yeah, I've got just the standby, the Grain Belt Premium. I will be starting to get extreme on low carb again next week. I was low carb in it for the 2 weeks leading up to the wedding to fit into my suit a little bit better, which did help.
Yes.
But I do have a lot of Grain Belts in the fridge and no Diet Cokes left. I got to say, not a usual soda guy. Haven't drank soda consistently since I was 20 years old, and I'm now 34, almost and a half. And but let me tell you, when doing low carb stuff, that Diet Coke was hitting.
Absolutely. Be careful with that. That Diet Coke, that it'll get you hooked, man.
I know, yeah, it's bad. But no, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do rum and Diet Cokes tonight for low carb, and unfortunately, no such luck. But I've got some Primos that are, you know, just taking up space in the fridge, and hopefully we'll see how long I can last on low carb going forward. But for now,
right.
And also I'm planning to hit the theater tomorrow, see a couple movies, so I don't want to be super hungover, like happens often when we drink liquor on the show, or when I drink liquor on the show, I should say.
Yep. Well, you'll have to keep me in line then, because I am drinking liquor right off the bat. I am low carb at the moment. You inspired me, and I feel like low carb has gotten much easier in the past couple years since I did it last, because there's low carb tortillas and low carb ice cream, and that's a game changer for me. But unfortunately, Bacardi Limon does not fit in the low carb category.
Hate that.
So I had to go out.
It's mojito season.
There you go. I just went out and bought the cheapest unflavored white rum that I could get. It does not taste very good. I missed the Bacardi Limon, but I have Paramount white rum with cherry lime flavored water beverage from Walmart. So
I was wondering if what the lowest or what cheapest rum there is out there. Is that like the Hawkeye vodka of rum? Basically? It's
literally at Walmart. It's on the bottom shelf in a big plastic jug, you know. Actually, there was one that was cheaper, but I hadn't had that one before, and I was too scared to go even cheaper than Paramount rum. So
sure.
It's not good, but it's drinkable. So that's what we're drinking. That's what Anthony did in Texas. Let's get into the episode. This is episode 12 of season 5. It is entitled Texas Whatever. It originally aired February 2nd of 2011. It was rated TV 14, and once again, it was 43 minutes long on the dot.
It was like 43 minutes and a few seconds. I did actually at one point late in the episode not because I didn't like the episode. It was very good, and we'll get into that. But because I think I was cutting it relatively close to recording time, and I was like, how much left is there? Because yeah, and I did notice that the running time was a little bit, so not on the dot 43 minutes.
Because I thought when I got done with this episode, I was like, it's over already? What the heck? So 43 minutes approximately. Haven IronOak, I see, has something to say about it. Why don't you fill us in?
Yeah, of course. The school board considers eliminating a football program to meet budget cuts, making Dillon a one-team town again. Meanwhile, Tami considers a job offer that Coach Taylor is eager to dismiss. Tyra returns to town and questions Tim about his plan to leave Texas. The Panthers boosters approach Buddy. Luke confronts Tim about his relationship with Becky. Following an abortive open school board hearing, Vince and Jess try to plead the Lions' case directly with the chairman of the school board.
Okay, overall, I thought that was very high quality. There were a couple of things that raised eyebrows. One, the Panthers boosters, I feel like it should be Panther boosters, is how it's usually referred to on the show. I don't know what the proper... Also, following an abortive open school board hearing. Weird. That's just an interesting word choice.
Weird phrasing.
I understand what he's saying, but and maybe that's just a product of the news cycle that we currently find ourselves in.
Right.
But abortive is maybe not a word that I would throw in there. But that's just Haven IronOak, though. I'm more interested in what Movie Dude 2 had to say.
Yeah, so Movie Dude 2, I will say I just watched the episode. My wife just got home from work. I had to write this one without her.
Oh, no.
Which this is only the maybe second time that I've had to do it. So
yeah,
she's rummaging around for something in the kitchen behind me. So we'll go ahead and see if how she feels and how you feel and how the folks at home feel about,
I like it.
About it.
Won't be as good because I didn't help.
True that.
And honestly, I'm not that nuts about this one, but here we go.
Okay.
Tami is getting serious about leaving Dillon and taking this job offer in Philadelphia. Tyra leaves wherever the hell she was to come back to Dillon to try to convince Tim that maybe he doesn't want to leave for the oil fields of Alaska. Luke isn't ready to leave Dillon for the Costco and bass fishing in the same town as the D3 school trying to recruit him. Meanwhile, one whole football team will be leaving Dillon for good this year.
I actually, in this episode, I wrote down two different possible themes. It was like, I know that I'm not actually writing this, but I feel like I'm picking up on a theme. And when Tim was talking about leaving Texas, I wrote leaving. So I'm on board with you there. I thought that was good. Yeah. And I didn't even get the one football team is leaving Dillon. So it was no Angie assisted synopsis, but it was good. It was good.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get into it here. I was very confused on this first scene. It's been a while since we recorded. And so I couldn't remember exactly what was happening. And we see Tami getting dropped off at home by a strange man. I was like, what is happening here? But no, I'm assuming that was a taxi.
It was a yellow cab.
Was it? Okay. I missed that. So she gets dropped off at home, coming back from the airport from her visit to the college, Braymore, I think it is.
I've lost track of all the fictional colleges in this show.
Right. Shane State, Wayne Garden. I don't.
Yeah. That's why in my synopsis I didn't even write down what the name of Luke's potential colleges, because
yeah, doesn't actually matter. Tami's college, we'll just call it. So she gets back from that and she is met by Coach, who says that he has a surprise for her. She turns around and Julie is home a week early from school.
Something else I did take note of in the scene. I don't know if you want to talk about. There's a few sidebars I might have in this episode, but
what Coach was watching?
Yeah, Coach was asleep on the couch with QVC on TV.
Yes, he was.
Seems like why wasn't he watching ESPN?
It was interesting to me because I feel like between QVC and later on Matt Saracen bringing home a Christmas tree, they were like really trying to point out that it was like Christmas time, because on QVC they were like selling some Santa thing is what I noticed.
Yep, I noticed that as well.
I was like, why are they pushing this Christmas thing? It also that
there was
seems
a couple
late
other
for
there was a couple other spots in there too that there was
Christmas
themed stuff.
Huh. It seems completely irrelevant to anything that actually happened. I guess Matt coming home for Christmas.
Yeah, I think it's maybe setting a bit, and same with Tyra. Like I think it's setting a bit of a tone for some of those things, but also it does seem late, but maybe that's just because we're in South Dakota and Texas
we cannot be playing football on December 25th. So yes. Good note there. Was there something else there, or the sidebars are for later?
No, just that. I've got more ahead.
Okay. Good deal. I was also confused by this scene, and I remain confused by it. Why was Tim throwing stuff out of his trailer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or the trailer that he's squatting in, or whatever.
I was wondering the same thing. Exactly what? Yeah, we just see Tim kind of throwing everything out of the trailer.
Yeah.
We don't know why. He's just aggravated in general, I guess. But it really feels like they could have contextualized this, you know, but I guess they had to hit that 43-minute mark. So.
We may have talked about this in a previous episode, but we don't know who actually lives in that house, do we?
No, we saw the silhouette of somebody last time. I think it's implied that it's maybe Becky's mom, but maybe we really don't know. Yeah. I don't think they could get Alicia Witt back. So I think they just are doing the implication.
Yep. So lots of questions on that very short little scene there. Yes. But next we're over at East Dillon.
Yeah, there's a big media presence on the East Dillon campus. All the local news affiliates are there. Principal Levi is pretty upset by all of this. Eric, what the hell is going on here?
What do you have going on tomorrow?
I'm gonna go see
to the movie theater. Okay, so if you blow out your voice doing Principal Levi impressions, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in a place where I need to be quiet. Yeah, I'm gonna go see that Nicolas Cage movie and The Northman finally, because I've been putting off both of them.
You will be fine to do Principal Levi, so I'll leave you in charge of all the impressions.
Thank you.
Coach
there's
Taylor,
not too much of it. He's not too much Levi in this episode.
Not compared to some previous episodes we've had. But he coach says, it's for state, you'll get used to it. And I don't know if I want to get used to it. Sorry, I was supposed to let you do that. I got to save my vocal cords. Speaking of saving things, the Lions are down at the grocery store trying to save their team, trying to organize and get people to come to the town meeting about the football team decision.
Yeah, I feel like they could have cut a big portion of this scene because it's basically irrelevant and added something more to the Tim scene because they're just outside the grocery store and they're talking about like
we need babysitters.
How all the people that are coming into the grocery store are moms and they're not going to be able to go into the meeting because they have kids and they need a babysitter. Yeah,
so we should get Jess to do it or get friends. So I thought this would be part of the storyline of the episode. Like, we got to get babysitters. We got to get Jess. And no, nothing. Also, I'm not sure that well, definitely because the town meeting was abortive, but I don't think like getting a bunch of people there would sway that decision much. It seems like it was like a financial decision. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I suppose you got to do something. You feel like you got to do something.
Getting all of the like minority women living in East Dillon is going to change anybody's mind.
Yeah, because if we know there's one thing that West Texans care about, it's the opinions of minority women.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
And I only point that out because how at one point Luke is like, amigas, as he's like handing out the brochures or whatever for the meeting.
Maybe he was just doing a bit like you with Rosa.
That could be. That could be it.
Yeah. So weird little scene there. Next, we see Billy and Mandy are having an ultrasound. And,
I will. We got to go back.
Okay.
The one relevant thing about the scene outside the grocery store is that Luke mentions to Vince that Coach has set up a meeting with recruiters from a D3 school.
Yes,
that is the one relevant thing that happens.
Yeah, I honestly missed that because I was assuming that the important thing was that they needed a babysitter.
Was the babysitter thing? Yeah.
So after that, we find out that Billy and Mandy are having twins. Billy's pumped. Mandy looks scared. That's about it.
Mindy is having a depressive episode throughout this entire episode, and Billy does not know how to handle it and does not handle it well.
Not at all.
There was this scene and the next scene, or one of the later scenes with them, it was like almost hard to watch.
Yeah, for sure. We've mentioned before that Billy Riggins is not good under stress, and if he's not good under his own stress, he might be even worse under other people's stress because he's just completely clueless.
Yeah, Mindy is in a bad place, I think.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah. And if I found out we were having twins, my reaction would be much closer to Mindy's than Billy's. So Tami goes to, yeah. Tami goes to Coach's office to tell him about the job offer. She says, this is what they offered me. She points out this is the first that he knows that they offered her the dean job, right? She tells him that then. She says she wants to do it. Coach is like, that's kind of a long commute from Texas. So I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit with this situation, but who are you siding with here on not on the big, okay, let me rephrase that. Do you think Tami brings this up well, or do you think I feel like it's a little too, this is the way it is?
Yeah, I think I understand Tami's approach, and I understand her being anxious to tell Coach and excited. Did she do it in the most responsible way? No. But on the other hand, Coach handles it very immaturely as well. So
I swing wildly back and forth in this episode on whose side I thought I was on as I was watching it.
Right.
Ooh, Tami, I wouldn't have done it like that. And then the next scene, it's like,
yeah,
damn, Coach, come on, man.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's kind of all over the place. It's just not good communication is what's going on here.
Right. I think that they're both handling it very poorly, but at the same time, if I put myself and Angie in this situation, I probably see a very similar communication.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I was about to say that I definitely my marriage has no room to talk on quality of communication about hard things, but I'm just not a direct communicator at all. I'm a very indirect person. And so direct communication just freaks me out. So when Tami says I got this job, I want to do it. I've been following you for 18 years. It's my turn now. That scares me. So, I felt like it was a little bit of an ambush here, but
and I like I said, I don't think that she did that intentionally to ambush. No, I think she was excited. Just genuinely excited and couldn't keep it in anymore.
Yes. All right. Next, we see Tim working at Buddy's. And Billy comes in.
Yes. One thing I do want to mention is throughout this episode, we see 3 or 4 incredible Buddy's bar shirts that I want.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Billy comes in the bar. He's just wants to talk to Tim. Tim kind of tries to blow him off and ignore him a little bit, but finally, walks over and listens. Billy apologizes for everything, tries to make things right. Tim tells him that he is planning to move to Alaska after his parole is up to go work on the pipeline up there. Billy is not too thrilled with this information.
No. I think he says like there's no opportunities up there, which I would disagree. There are plenty of opportunities in Alaska. You just have to go live in Alaska to seize that opportunity. And I think a very defining line here is you're just going to leave Texas, which is where I was cued into like, ooh, this could be a theme here. And you took the leaving theme as well. So
yes,
Billy pretty incredulous at the thought of someone just leaving Texas. Jess is struggling with the clothes dryer in the locker room, kind of making a little scene there. Vince goes to help her out, and she kind of spills her guts to him about, you know, how working with Coach has been a dream come true, an opportunity that, you know, she never thought she'd ever be able to really have. But if the Lions are done after this year, then, you know, her job with Coach will more than likely be done and it'll be over. And so she's pretty worked up about that. Vince tries to comfort her, I guess.
Yep. Just console her a little bit. Luke over at, I think at Buddy's, Luke is meeting, I'm not sure. Maybe not. Somewhere, some public place.
Yep.
Luke is meeting with the recruiters from the D3 school that he is.
I've forgotten now.
Being recruited to, they tell him all about how this town, is it in Texas? It was hard to
It's a good question
for sure. But
let's assume so.
The recruiters tell him how we just got a new Costco. We
they put in a new movie theater.
Yeah, they put in a new movie theater. You like fishing? Yeah, I guess I probably would. He says something. The way he phrased it made it sound like he's never actually been fishing before, but he assumes that he would enjoy it. Like I think he says, like, yeah, probably. So they tell him, oh yeah, well, you come down, we'll take you out on the bass fishing boat. It's an 18-footer. And yeah, Luke is just seeming a little timid. He doesn't seem that into it.
Yeah, pretty underwhelmed is what I put. I don't know if you noticed the line from like the older guy of the two that was meeting with Luke when he sat down at the very beginning of the scene. He's walking, he like shuffles over the table and he sits down. He's like, "That's a good pudding. I love a good pudding."
No, I did not catch that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if it's Buddy's. I don't know if Buddy serves pudding or not.
But I'm not a pudding guy.
I'm not really either. You can put pudding in my donuts and I'll eat it, but I'm not just gonna whip up a batch of pudding. My Lindsay loves to like make a thing of pudding after a meal and, you know, have some chocolate pudding, but not me.
I can do like the Long Johns from the Platt Bakery. That's the only, and that's like a cream. That's not even a pudding. I don't like a pudding in my donut. Honestly, yeah, like I can maybe do like a snack pack chocolate pudding, but I couldn't tell you the last time that I had like a homemade pudding.
Yeah. You go low carb, buddy, and sugar-free snack packs become your friend. I go with the Jell-O, the sugar-free Jell-O.
See, Jell-O's another thing. I think I just don't like gel things as a texture, because I don't like most gummies either.
Ooh, yeah, I love gummies.
Not a gummy guy. The texture weirds me out.
Fair enough. Well, you just can't appreciate a good pudding.
I guess. Yeah, that must be it. When I was a kid, I used to love chocolate pudding. I remember like going to the Pizza Ranch buffet and just like loading up on chocolate pudding.
Right on.
I can still do a chocolate pudding, but it's got to be like a snack pack. I don't think I could. There's just something like about like a, you know, an amorphous liquid solid.
That's fair. I can understand that. We've established that you're a big texture guy. So.
I am.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
There's a big crowd to watch the Lions practice. So that's, I mean, they've come a long way in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
That was kind of a thing for West Dillon when Coach was there, but no, they got a full crowd just to watch practice, which boggles my mind. Coach gets interviewed before the practice. I can't remember what they asked him, but you know, standard Coach stuff.
Yeah, he speaks really highly of Vince.
Yep.
Specifically, an interview just talks about how great of a kid Vince is, etc.
Not getting distracted. I remember that.
Yep. And then after he walks away from the reporter, I guess, Luke kind of comes up and he asks Luke about the meeting with the recruiters, and Luke is pretty vague, kind of downplaying it.
Yeah, he gives him a pretty BS answer about, he says, they're nice guys. They're passionate about me and about the program. So, yeah, really good, coach. Not very convincing. Next we see Buddy listening to Slam and Sammy on the radio. And man, I used to be so fond of Slam and Sammy, but all we ever hear from Slam and Sammy anymore is just shitting on the Lions.
Yeah, Lion trash talk. We don't love to hear it.
No.
Buddy's cooking up something in a frying pan too. I couldn't tell exactly what it was.
Yeah, he was. I didn't notice either. I gotta assume it was a big cut of steak.
Yeah.
But, a Panther booster knocks on his door to kind of give him a heads up, like, hey, I've got some information. The Lions are on their way out. It's going to be the Panthers, and they want Buddy to head up the boosters, and because they need someone to handle Vince. I don't know. I think they're getting Buddy to get Coach to get Vince. I feel like this is like a domino thing. Like they want Vince, but without Coach. But Vince is going to play no matter what. But they need someone to handle him. Which
I guess that makes sense. When I was watching the scene, I was just like, why do they care if Buddy is there? Like, is one of the boosters? Like, who cares? Because the thing is, too, if there's one football team in town, he's Buddy Garrity. Like, what is he gonna do? Not care about football?
Right.
Like, get real, dude.
He's not gonna be a fan of the one football team in town. I don't know. I guess maybe how it could be explained in my mind is that it seems like maybe they realized that they really screwed up with the whole McCoy thing because the stud of suds basically like took that over and like had his way with it, but then they must have left.
Yeah, because
and so they want to get rid of Mac now, and they want to get Coach. They want to get back to.
It seems to be implied that Mac McGill is now the head coach of the Dillon Panthers.
Yeah. Because he wasn't before, right?
No, it was Wade Aikman.
Right.
It's just the whole thing is very bizarre to me because it's like, we don't really know what happened to the McCoys, which is whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's fascinating because it's like, I get it. I get that like Buddy made a big gesture of like moving away and deciding I'm not a Panther anymore. And Coach really turned his back on the Dillon Panthers and the whole program. But at the heart of all of that was Wade Aikman and frickin' Joe McCoy.
Right.
I feel like any reasonable person would just let bygones be bygones in this situation and just not care.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody who's from a town smaller than what Dillon is implied to be.
Right.
You know?
The beef is with the McCoys. It's not necessarily with. I mean, they did treat Coach pretty crappy, like the town did.
The town and that organization took the McCoys' side over Coach Taylor. So I understand to an extent, but man, you got to just let bygones be bygones.
I got to assume that this is the second to last episode, right? I got to assume that by the end of the next episode, we find out that Buddy is back to his old Panther booster ways.
Yeah, he's learned nothing from the entire 5 years that we've known him.
This is maybe more of a recap episode conversation, so we can dig into it more. But I feel like Buddy has grown as a person over the last 5 seasons. We don't have nearly as many Buddy Garrity sleazeball moves of the week.
This is true.
We got to dig a little deeper than we used to. What did we say Buddy's actual name was?
Donnie.
Oh yeah. Buddy Donnie Garrity. So maybe he has grown, but I think he's going to be back on his bullshit by the end of the next episode.
For
sure. Tim is working at Buddy's in a cool t-shirt, I assume, based on our earlier conversation. Some sleazy bar patron calls him a jailbird, and Tim basically threatens to kill him. As this is happening, goodness gracious, it's Tyra Collette.
We love to see her.
She's looking very good.
Oof.
I might say better than ever.
The blonde hair, man.
I understand. Yep.
Yeah.
I knew that was that would be problematic for you, but yeah, Tyra's back.
Looks great. She looks great.
We got to have Tyra back for the end of the end of the season. We're probably not going to get Lila back, are we? How do we get Lila back?
I think we get Lila back.
Is she going to show up?
I think so. Don't quote me for sure, but I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that everybody comes back for the last episode.
Yeah. I could not. We've talked about this before over past seasons. Could not remember who Tim ends up with, but I think I know where we're heading now.
There's heavy implications here. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll get into that in a few moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tyra comes in. She kind of cracks a joke. She apparently just witnessed this whole thing go down without saying anything. Was just waiting for the right moment to step in.
Very dramatic. Tami is sitting at home. She's very sad about the job. You can kind of see it on her face. Coach comes in, apologizes for, how he responded to her conversation earlier. He says, I know how much this means to you. I really do. But we have an obvious problem here. And he said, I am sorry, but we have an obvious problem here. Tami kind of says, I don't see this as a problem. This could actually be like a solution to a problem, depending on how the Lions-Panthers situation works out. And she, can't we even have this conversation? And Coach walks out of the room on here. And in my notes, I say, okay, now I'm on Tami's side of this. So.
Back at Buddy's, Tim is apparently on a break and talking with Tyra. They catch up a little bit outside. She actually breaks the news to Tim about Billy and Mindy having twins on the way, I should say. I don't have really much else about this scene.
Yeah. Next, speaking of the twins, we see Mandy crying in bed because Stewie won't. I just purposely, this whole family, we're beefing so hard that I refuse to call them by their names. So Mandy is crying in bed because Stewie won't even remember who she is because she's having twins, which I think is like a really weird thing to be worried about.
Once again, I think
she's having
Mandy is in a deep depression. Like legit needs to talk to somebody who's not Billy because she is in a bad place.
It's no joke what she seems to be going through. And I have known many people, and I think she'd be fine with me saying this because she published it very publicly, but my own wife, has really struggled with postpartum stuff, even though we're adoptive, still just the complete upheaval of life that is bringing a new child into your home. So I have some sympathy for Mandy here. Absolutely. Billy, however, tries to comfort her, but his comfort is based on the idea that he'll be coaching football next year. And Mandy's like, well, we don't know that for sure. And Billy's just like, yes, there will be. There will be a football team. There will be a East Dillon Lions. So not very comforting, Billy.
No, Billy does not. Yeah, he's in over his head. If this couple existed in real life and I saw this conversation happen, I would be very concerned.
Absolutely.
But since we're beefing, I don't care.
Screw you guys. Coach lets out practice. Buddy pulls him aside after practice. kind of asks him, hey, what are you thinking if things don't go the right way at this meeting? What are you thinking you're going to do? Coach kind of says, well, he plays it off almost like Billy. Doesn't
Eric, think about it. The best of East Dillon and the best of the Dillon Panthers coming together. A super team.
That was a really good buddy, I gotta say. Yeah, that was good. But he tempts Eric with that and says he implies that he knows that they're not going to go with Mac McGill as head coach. So trying to tempt Eric a little bit here. Ma Colette is back. We see the Colette girls and Becky and Billy are having a little party. I don't know if this is like a congratulations, you're having twins party or
right,
like a Tyra's home party.
Yeah, because like Becky is there too.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to tell exactly what.
I guess because she's basically a part of the Billy and Mandy family now. I guess. Yeah. Where's she living?
She's at Riggins. I think she's still living with Billy and Mindy, isn't she? Or is she living? Because her dad. Yes, because her dad left and Mindy witnessed it because Mindy and
she made her come back home. But there was something that was said later in the episode where I was confused. But so they're having a little party. Ma Colette is badgering Billy about what they're going to do for money next year when the Lions are no longer a team. Once again, Billy doesn't really want to talk about that.
What happened to Riggins Riggs?
It got shut down because they had a chop shop thing. Yeah,
okay.
And Tim went to jail. Yeah,
was that explicitly stated that that's what happened?
Maybe not explicitly, but I feel like that's a pretty easy conclusion to come to.
Sure,
but I don't think it was explained specifically. But I gotta assume that if someone had to go to jail for a year or whatever, it's gonna. I
wonder what happened to their Longhorn.
Butchered.
R.I.P.
Steaks.
What was do you remember the bull's name?
I can't. I can never remember it. You remembered it longer than I did.
Yeah.
If anyone can remember the name of the Longhorn steer,
I'm embarrassed that I can't.
Tweet at us. We need to know that. So Billy does mention that Tim is moving to Alaska, which is news to Tyra. Tim had not mentioned this to her yet.
Yeah, Billy, Tyra, and Becky all kind of look concerned hearing this news.
Yep. Julie drives past Matt and Grandma Saracen's house. I assumed that it was deserted in this scene, but I don't think it was. I think that was when we see Grandma Saracen later. That's in her house, so it's just run down.
No, I had written in my notes that is this house just vacant because Matt's old sign out front was still it wasn't out front, but it was visible,
it was sideways, and so it was there, but not.
But I'd forgotten
on display.
I'd forgotten. I think back in season 3 that Matt had Grandma living in an assisted living home, and then was like, "Nope, I'm taking you back home." That was when Billy and Mandy got married.
Yeah, that's right. So she's got in-home care. We find out later. She's no Carlota, but she does have an in-home nurse. Becky goes out to see Luke. She heads out to the farm and she wants to explain some things about Tim. I was confused, but then I remembered that Luke had driven by when Becky was talking to Tim, and Luke had floored it and driven off in a huff, seeing that. So, Becky just explains this is who Tim is to me. This is what, he did for me, but that's not real. There've been some misunderstandings and all that. And but you're real. You're the one, you're who I want. And wow, low point for Luke here.
What? Yeah. What an idiot.
Jeez Louise. Luke tells her, that's real pretty. You should put it in a little poem. Ooh. Becky. Becky's like,
Yeah.
screw you then. Okay.
Yeah.
Goodbye, asshole.
Man, just an absolute dick move from Luke. What an idiot.
It seems like maybe Luke has not had good conflict resolution or expressing emotions modeled to him from his mother, who we know is a piece of work, and his dad also like, no, you got to stay home and work on the farm.
Right.
So I just feel like maybe Luke doesn't have a grid for how to actually communicate.
That's a good
have confrontation.
That's good. That's good analysis.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have. I was just like, man, this guy's a like how can anybody in that situation be like that?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that I think that's good analysis. I think it explains very well.
I could have a little compassion that way, but it was still awful. That doesn't change how awful it was. All I have for the next scene is that we got a real Parks and Rec situation going on at the Panthers and Lions meeting to decide which football team is going to stay.
The abortive hearing, if you will.
Right.
It's just pure chaos.
Everybody's yelling at everybody else and everybody's completely unreasonable and pretty passionate town about their football. And that comes across, even though East Dillon did not give two shits about their football team a year ago.
Yeah.
But
but you know what gets the crowd going is somebody starts shouting state.
That always gets the people going in this show. Next, Billy is writing and rehearsing how he's going to ask Coach about the job situation while he's driving. Almost has a wreck in his pickup. Yeah. It's a little shook up, but
a good comedy moment where we see Billy rehearsing what we think is part of this speech that he's going to give to Coach, but it turns out it's just the whole thing. He's preparing and repeating over and over this one sentence.
I didn't even think about how funny that was. I noticed it, but now that you mention it, that's really funny. He was like agonizing over that one sentence.
He's like writing it down as he's driving.
Like,
my financial situation has me concerned about what the football landscape looks like next year. It's not that much, Billy.
No, and he asked Coach directly that, and Coach says, "Well, the football landscape's a little blurry right now. Wish I could be a little more definitive, but I can't." And Billy just okay and walks away. So I don't think that went like Billy had worked up in his mind.
No.
Luke heads over to Buddy's for a cheeseburger and a Coke.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah. He saunters in. It's hard to like tell if Buddy's just isn't doing good business or if like I almost thought it seemed like they were closed.
Yeah, it did seem like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta assume it's mainly a bar and that maybe it's open for lunch. I don't know. But I wondered whether Buddy's was doing well. Because later on we see an outside shot, an exterior shot of Buddy's bar. And there's like half the neon sign is out on two different neon signs. Like half of it is out. It's like, didn't this bar start this season?
He bought old neon signs from somewhere else,
I guess. But geez, it's looking pretty sketch on the outside. So, but yes, Luke sits down. He orders a cheeseburger and can I get you anything or how can I help you or whatever? Yeah, can I get a cheeseburger and Coke? And
is that it?
Yeah, is that it? And then Luke asked Tim if he's in love with Becky, and Tim like just about laughs out loud at this question. You serious? You serious, Clark? And Tim explains like, no, like I care about her and I was there for her when nobody else really was, but that's about it.
Yeah.
This seems to satisfy Luke.
Yes. Yeah. And then Luke also asks about his football future. Asks, have you ever heard of the D3 college that I'm considering going to. Tim says no. And he's like, I don't know about my football future looks like or whatever. And Tim just basically tells him like, hey, you're going to state.
Yeah.
Get out there, play like it's your last game, like put all your heart into it, etc.
Yeah.
Over this scene, we got a pretty solid little music cue. I texted you about this.
Yeah, you did. I did not notice what it was, so fill me in.
The vibes were good. I was digging it. I feel like you would like it. So I added it to my summer playlist, even my 2022 summer playlist. A song by the name of One Pillow by Justin Mather.
All right, I got it pulled up, so I'll listen to it when we're done recording here. I did not notice it, but good deal.
Yeah, I dug it.
Next, Vince and Jess go to see like kind of the guy who was in charge of that meeting. So I don't know what his official job is, but he's like some sort of person who makes the decisions on Dillon athletics, we'll say.
Yeah, it was
like
hard to. I literally,
or something.
in my notes, I just have Vince and Jess speaking with some dude about the hearing. I think Haven IronOak had put in the notes the chairman of the school board.
Oh, okay, sure. I trust Haven on that. The dude looks haggard though. Looks like he's been through hell the last couple days on this. Vince basically tells him like, "Hey, East Dillon football saved my life. Coach Taylor saved my life. This is all we got." And the guy like thanks him and says like, "Hey, this was the best part of my day."
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he was like being sarcastic or if he was genuine.
I think he was being serious, because when they said that, hey, we're not here to like yell or argue or anything like that, he was like, well, that's refreshing. And I think he was serious about that. So I think it was actually good for him to hear some positives that have happened in his school district and some positive reasons, rather than just like, F you can't take our football team. So we get another scene with a quick scene with Tyra and Tim.
Yeah, they're just out talking by the trailer. Tim kind of reveals to Tyra that, because Tyra is like not sure exactly where Tim and Billy had the falling out, and so Tim reveals to Tyra that he took the fall for Billy, and that's why there's kind of bad blood.
Yep. Next, we see Tami. She's drinking at the kitchen counter. Not a huge pour, but I gotta assume that she had that glass filled up, and she's 2/3 of the way through it.
That's either that or it's round 2 or 3 of the night.
That's a good point.
For sure.
Julie comes in. Julie can tell that something is wrong, I think. Is everything okay? We find out that the meeting where they make the decision about East or West Dillon is tonight. Julie asks Tami, so what are you hoping for? And Tami responds, I hope the Lions get to stay put, and I hope that I get to be the dean of Braymore College. I wrote it down. Next was the obvious music cue.
Yes.
I think this is the third time they've brought it back.
Yes. Yeah.
Still good.
I think it was in episode 2 of the first season, and then I think in the season finale of season 1.
Yeah.
And now here in the penultimate episode.
Yes. It's not overdone in my mind.
I agree.
Still hits. They do make the announcement outside of you got people like,
by the way, the song is Devil Town. I don't think we said what the name
do
of
we
the
not? Yes, Devil Town. Like there are people camped outside the meeting to hear what they decide. And they make the announcement. It's going to be the Panthers next year. The East Dillon Lions have been eliminated, is how he worded it, which I thought was a little harsh.
Yeah.
So obviously the West Dillon people are pumped. East Dillon people are kind of thrown by that. Coach pulls Vince aside and says, "Hey, you're going to be, I don't know if he said star or starting quarterback.
He said you're going to be the star quarterback of the Dillon Panthers next year, and you were going to shine.
You are going to shine." So he has that little moment with Vince, and then he goes and gets in his car, and frickin' Buddy is sitting in his car looking up at the ceiling. We need to talk.
Eric.
Eric. Yeah, a true Buddy moment. I think Buddy is getting back into Panther Buddy form.
I think so too. He sees what's coming. He sees the writing on the wall.
Yep.
Tyra and Julie reunite. We don't know the last time that they saw each other. I kind of forgot that they were old friends, honestly.
Yeah.
But they talk a little bit. They're outside of like the Alamo Freeze, or maybe it's Fran's Hamburgers.
Fran's Hamburgers.
Or the diner, who knows? But they're talking. They're just kind of basically catching up. I think Tyra makes a comment about how the city of Dillon is like a drug.
Yeah.
How when you're away from it, you kind of are just like, wow, that's insane that anybody wants to be involved in that. But when you're caught up in it, it's
there's no other possible reality, she said. Which, man, Tyra has just become like the philosopher of this show. You know?
I don't want to like spoil it, because I think we'll do a capstone episode where we kind of review the entire series and talk about, our favorite this, that, and everything. But I really think that Tyra might be my favorite character this time around. I think entire I think of the entire series, for sure the most, to me, relatable this go around.
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty profound little moment. Julie says, it's a hard place to shake. And Tyra says, I didn't really see that coming. Tyra asks about Matt. How's it going with Maddie? And Julie says, like, they're good, but she doesn't really know like what they are or what they aren't. And Tyra, once again in philosopher form, says life's harder when you really love someone. I also noticed that they were drinking out of red Solo cups outside of the diner, which I thought was weird. So unless, I don't know, maybe people drink liquor in their own liquor in parking lots.
This whole series has several scenes of people drinking alcohol in places where you don't typically drink alcohol. 2 scenes coming up as a great example.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, for sure. Yes. Coach and Buddy are just getting drunk by the Panthers football field. Right? You felt like they were pretty inebriated at this point.
Like
a little tuned up.
Like
they're talking pretty strong. Buddy tells Coach that, they're going to want that the Dillon Panthers are going to want Coach for Vince. That booster that came and talked to Buddy said they needed somebody that could handle Vince. Yep. And Coach says, I can never come back to that school. And Coach. But Buddy once again lays it on that, like, you'll have everything that you could ever want or need.
Eric, think about it. Next year, you'll have 2 state championships. Next year, you'll win a 3rd. You'll win 3 in 6 years. You'll be the first person to ever do that. You'll have the best facilities. There's nothing you can't do.
Where did this excellent Buddy impression come from? You're nailing it tonight.
I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Potential for 3 rings in 6 years. So Buddy's laying it on thick. He's going full.
I think it's just coming back from Texas. I think I got a taste of the accent up close.
That must be it. Yeah. But Buddy is fully back in booster mode for sure. As we mentioned, the Lions players are drinking in a place where you just don't do that.
They're on the practice field, but it's in a classic, like, It's a classic scene. I think we've seen this happen.
Field?
Yeah, because I'm guessing that Buddy and Coach are at the playing field.
No, they're at the Panthers.
Oh, were they?
Yep.
Okay.
And these guys had to be at the game field because there was like lions or an L or whatever painted on, and you don't paint the decoration on the practice field. So they're just lights on, right? Yeah. Stadium lights on. So people are going to notice.
It's only the characters that we've come to know. It's literally Tinker, Buddy Jr., Vince, Hastings Ruckle, and Luke.
Yeah. That's because everybody else on the team is literally a rotating cast and they have zero continuity from week to week.
Yeah.
But yes, they are out in the middle of the field under the stadium lights, drinking the week before state.
Yeah.
The week before state.
It was very reminiscent to me of the scene in Dazed and Confused where they're drinking on the field at the end, where they're just kind of like having that moment where they realize like this is the end. And so they're like, I'm gonna take some grass. You know,
did they do that in Dazed and Confused too?
No, but just you know, it was a very similar vibe to
right. And obviously they're throwing back to Riggins and
because we've seen players drink on the field at least 3 times before in this show. So
I feel like the fact that it's a week before state really ups the
I agree.
Stupidity of this.
They're hammered.
Yeah. But yes, they are Tinker is trying to cut out a piece of grass to take home to plant in his yard so that he can always have a piece of this, you know, forever. Even though the East Dillon Lions won't be a thing anymore, he'll still have that patch of grass in his lawn. Freaking Buddy Jr. pukes. Buddy Jr. is a loser.
Well,
that kid.
Was it Buddy or was it Tinker that was doing the freaking Samoa dance at the beginning?
That was Tinker.
That was Tinker, yeah.
They should have learned their lesson for that. Who broke their leg doing that?
It was
Buddy Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks exactly like him though, so glad he's around. Tim is cleaning up at Buddy's, closing, I assume. Tyra comes to talk to him, you know, kind of urges him like, don't turn your back on Billy. He's, you know, the one person who's been there for you your whole life. And she just kind of says her piece about that and then leaves. But Tim follows her out.
Yep, chases her down. Basically just says, Tyra, don't leave. And they kiss.
Yes, they do passionately.
And it's on.
Oh, yes. This is where I noticed that Buddy's signs were all burned out. Less than a year. Like months into his business opening.
Yeah, we saw this going up at the end of the summer.
Right.
Now it's Christmas.
Right. From August to December, his establishment has completely fallen apart into disrepair. Coach arrives back home, tells Tami the news. Of course, Tami's already heard it about the East Dillon Lions being eliminated. You know, he tells her that they want him to coach the Panthers. It's going to be everything he could wish for and want. Tami, I feel like this was just a knockout punch here, where I was like, damn, Tami, you're right. She says, I'm going to say to you what you haven't had the grace to say to me. Congratulations, Eric. Oof. And she walks away. Which, yes, that is a very, very good point. The very least that Eric could do would be to be like, damn, Tami, they offered you the dean job. Like, that's amazing. Way to go. Like, you freaking rock. But he never did that. So, I mean, Tami kind of weaponizes that, but she has reason for sure.
Yes. The next morning, we see Tyra waking up in the Airstream.
Yeah. Tim's put it back together.
Yes. She wakes Tim up and she tells him that she wants him to take her somewhere.
Yep. Over at the practice or locker room or whatever, practice, field house. Maybe Jess leaves a folder in coach's office, and then she's kind of like looking through the plays on his desk or whatever. Vince comes in and, makes some remark about her going through coach's things, but then he says, it feels like we're losing everything that we worked for here. And he says, what about you and me? Asks, about the state of their relationship or lack thereof. And, she tells him that, he has things about him that she really, really loves. And then, other stuff comes out and it really, really hurts her. And Vince kind of asks her back and she hugs him, and it looks like that one's back on as well.
Yeah. Get a little scene of Tim and Tyra. They're at Tim's land, which still has the for sale sign up or maybe it's for sale again because Tim is selling it. So
I remember the sign, but I don't remember what it said. So yeah, that's weird.
Maybe it didn't say for sale. Maybe it had like the big like attention sign on it. I wasn't paying attention, but I did know the sign was still up.
Interesting. Yeah.
They're just there kind of just staring at the land, and Tyra at one point just says like, Alaska, huh?
Yeah. Well, and it was beautiful. Like,
right.
They did a great job of showing like, whew, this is how could you not love this? Yeah. So really, like, you want to go to Alaska? Not this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next we see Grandma Saracen. Boo. Grandma Saracen. Boo.
Boo.
But Matt comes home and surprises Grandma. She's obviously still not right in the head, but she's very happy to see him.
I will say, I wrote in my notes, we hate Grandma, but this was a very touching scene.
I was mostly just hating on Grandma, but
Fair,
if I would have let myself, it probably would. Yeah, I can acknowledge that it was nice, but
I mean, it was kind of a sad moment where she's like, "Oh, did you tell your dad?" And Matt kind of like pauses. Like, no, you're the only one I've told. You're the only one who knows. So.
Yeah, see, at that point, I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hard-hearted toward Grandma. I was like, damn it, Grandma, seriously? That's probably not fair to Grandma. I hope someone treats me with more compassion when I'm old and demented. Last scene, there's a knock on Coach Taylor's door. It is Buddy and the booster guy. Tami answers the door. They want to talk to Coach. Coach invites them in. Tami is visibly pissed. Yeah. And as they go in, Coach invites them in. Tami kind of angrily whispers to Coach as they come in, 18 years, in reference to the 18 years that she has followed him around being a football coach. So, things are getting rough between the Taylors. Dicey. Yep. That's it. End of the episode. Roll credits. We will be right back. We will give out our awards for the week. We're back. We're going to give out some awards. And like we always do, we're going to start with the Coach Taylor inspo rating. I don't know, man. How inspiring was Coach this episode?
This is tough because he has some real highs and some real lows. I'm tempted to go middle of the road and say 5.
Okay. Let's start with the highs because I can't think of what the highs for Coach are.
I mean, to me, one of the great Coach Taylor moments, I think maybe of the entire series, for sure of this season, is him talking to Vince.
Yeah.
That's kind of reassuring him, hey, you're going to be, the star of the Dillon Panthers next year, and you are going to shine.
You're going to be, that's good. Yep. Lows include definitely his interaction with Tami. Not great.
I think even his like modesty when he's talking to Buddy, when Buddy's like trying to convince him like, hey, you're going to be the head coach next year, and him being like, I can't go back there. Like it is not part of who I am to go back there.
Yeah.
I
think consider that a low?
No, I'd consider that a high.
A high. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, now you've talked me into a little higher. but I still think a little higher for me would be about middle of the road. So
yeah. I'm thinking a middle of the road 5 because he has highs and lows. I would be willing to go down to a 4, but that's about as far down as I'm willing to go.
Yeah, let's go with 5. I feel like those were some good points. So definitely not a shining episode for Coach, but there are some moments. Julie Taylor hate-o-meter, not a lot to hate here.
No, she's barely in it.
She even like asked her mom, like, hey, how you doing? How you feeling about this? What do you, you know? So that's rare for Julie. I thought it was weird that they were like super pumped about her being home early after she was like actively avoiding being at college. Right. But you know,
yeah, I think
she did it the right way.
They would be.
Sure.
I would have thought they would be concerned.
What the hell are you doing here? This again? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm willing to go. Man, I mean, borderline -1.
It's slightly likable. She's slightly likable. I think it is. I think we are in the negatives. Pains me a little bit, but we are in the negatives.
It's weird. Yeah. We haven't been in the negatives in a while.
No, I think it's the less Julie we have is better for her case. So
yeah.
Big Rig Beer Tally.
Although you know what, she does have a bit of a low moment where she just kind of goes by and stares at Matt's house. We might have to bring it down to a 0 for that weird moment.
I feel like I'm rooting for Matt and Julie, so I felt okay about that. It was a little weird, but I'm gonna leave it in the positives. Let's throw Julie this bone. Let's throw her this bone.
All right. We don't have too many left. So
Big Rig Beer Tally, what'd you come up with for that one?
I had 2.
That sounds about right to me.
Both shared with Tyra. One while he was on the break at Buddy's, and one outside the trailer when he reveals to her about how he took the fall for Billy.
Yeah. The Alamo Freeze presents the Matt Saracen Aw Shucks Goofus Maloofus moment of the week. We had the one scene with Matt coming home to grandma. Feel like he handled that pretty well. Not sure there was a Goofus Maloofus moment in there.
Yeah, you could kind of, he wasn't too Goofus Maloofus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that counts as Goofus Maloofus.
I can't think of much of anyone else having any Goofus Maloofus moments.
Yeah, usually Luke takes over this.
I think we'll have a place for Luke in either Sleazeball or Scumbag of the week. So we'll leave that one vacant this week. Let's move on to the Donnie Buddy Garrity Sleazeball move of the week. I gotta nominate Buddy waiting in Coach's car and just kind of like,
yeah,
we need to talk.
Yeah, I think Buddy is, as we've mentioned, kind of back in full on scheming mode.
Yes,
in this episode. Yes. Eric, think about it.
Everything you could possibly want. Joe McCoy, Stud of Suds, Smug Scumbag move of the week. Oh, go ahead.
Jumbotron.
We got a Jumbotron. The Joe McCoy Stud of Suds, Smug Scumbag move of the week. I'm going to go with freaking Luke on this one.
Yeah. Put that in a pretty poem
real pretty. Why don't you put that in a little poem? Gross. Notable music cues. My nomination, I mean, we don't have to pick a specific one because this is just all the notable music cues, but definitely Deviltown.
Yeah, I think it's a hard and fast rule of the Reliving the Lights podcast that if Deviltown plays an episode, it's automatically
it's the top. Yep.
The song choice of the music cue of the week.
But we would be remiss to not mention One Pillow by Justin Mather.
Good tune.
Nice little summer bop for you. Maybe not a bop. I don't know if there's any bops in this show.
No, it was a low key country tune, but the kind of country that I like.
Nice.
So when I say my summer playlist, it's just songs that I'll be listening to through a season. They'll be upbeat, they'll be downbeat. It's just kind of how my seasonal playlists go, but this one's making it because
nice. Outdated pop culture reference.
Throw old Justin Mather my fraction of a cent here and there when I listen to him on Apple Music.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
Outdated pop culture reference of the week or anything we need to cancel. Cancel corner.
There had to have been something. I think maybe Matt Saracen saying Merry Christmas when just a few years later Mr. Obama would make it illegal to say Merry Christmas, and we could only
you can't
say
say
Happy
that.
Holidays there for a while.
You cannot say. Well, you can.
Well,
say
you
it,
can now because Mr. Trump made it okay.
Yeah,
but
look out because
Barack
Mr. Biden,
Hussein Obama made it illegal to say Merry Christmas, if we all remember, for those few years.
And Barack Hussein Obama's buddy Joe is really attacking our rights when it comes to saying Merry Christmas. So, yeah, that's a good point. Outdated pop culture reference. Well, yes, the war on Christmas.
Yes.
Quote of the episode. The first thing that comes to my mind is Tyra.
Yeah,
her little
was like a drug.
Yeah,
that's I think for me as well. That one.
I'm just going to do a quick search in my notes for quotation marks. Yep, that one's Tyra. A biting quote. I wouldn't give it quote of the episode, but when Tami says, "I'm going to say to you what you haven't had the grace to say to me. Congratulations, Eric." It's a powerful quote.
Yes.
And that's all I noted. So we'll give it to Tyra just for that whole little scene there. Okay, who's the MVP of the episode? Who won this one? I think there's a case to be made for Tyra herself.
Yeah. I was gonna.
She comes back in looking good. She talks some sense into Tim, I think. We don't know for sure what Tim's gonna do, but it seems like she's nudging him in the right direction.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's an argument to be made. Nominate Tim Riggins as well. I think he goes through a really positive arc in this episode.
Yeah, I think he's getting pointed back in the right direction. I don't know that he's there yet, though. Tami Taylor, we got to nominate her.
We got to name it.
Standing up for herself.
Tami, yes, yeah. She handles herself as always with poise and grace and beauty.
Absolutely, lots of beauty.
Yes.
It's not Coach. It's not Luke.
No.
It's not
Absolutely
Billy.
Not. No.
It's not Buddy. Yeah. I feel like the answer's Tyra, though.
Yeah, gotta hand it to her.
I think we give it to her.
I know my Tyra bias. My Tyra bias has been showing. Maybe not lately, but usually. So I'm glad that you mentioned it because I think that Tyra is. I think it's a good candidate.
Yeah, she's making a good showing here. I know you've loved Tyra, and my wife loves Tyra, and I was kind of always like, I don't know, but I think she's going to end strong here. So, Episode rating. How much do we like this episode?
I thought this was a really strong episode. I think it's the strongest episode in a while. I am willing to go strong 8 to a light 9.
I'm willing. I felt like a light 8, so let's keep it in the 8 range. I think that's fair.
Yep.
Definitely for this season, it's good. I don't think it moves into 9 territory yet, but good stuff. I know the good folks who rated it on IMDb have it as a 9.0, so kind of right there with us. Okay, before we get to our lesson of the episode, it's been a little bit, so let's do some social media shout outs.
I do want to mention real quick while we're getting to those that as I was looking for the quotes to see if there was any on IMDb, I did notice a little piece of trivia about this episode.
Oh yeah, do share.
This episode, Texas Whatever, was directed by none other than Coach Eric Taylor himself, Kyle.
Get out of here. Kyle Chandler himself.
Kyle Chandler himself.
Is that the only one he did? I don't think we've seen.
He has directed 2 things: this episode and an episode of early edition.
Hell yeah, he did.
He must have had it in his contract. Like, I got to direct one episode.
You got to give me one. and,
hey, Peter, we're running out. All I'm saying.
Unless you want me doing the finale, Peter, it's time. All right, let's do these social media shout outs.
All right. Longtime fan of the show. Maybe our OG first fan.
I think so. I think that's fair.
And the first fan that we knew that was
right.
First interacting with us, first acknowledging us. Riley McKenna Insco, the OG.
The OG.
Salute.
Shout out Riley.
She tweeted to us. Actually, I don't think you even told me that this episode was out, so this was like a shocker to me when she tweeted this. She said the last episode was unhinged in the best way possible. Forget the big rig beer tally. I'm gonna need an Anthony and Josh what you drinking tonight tally. This was an episode that I ended up listening to finally like a week after she tweeted at us. I went home for Easter. I went back to Platt for about 20 hours and listened to it on the drive home and had like lost memories come back and was like, oh yeah. I can't remember. I remember like talking about tire pressure, like tractor tire pressure. I was like, it was one of those things that like, middle of the week, like probably a week after I recorded that, I remember like sitting at work and was like, was I talking with somebody recently about tractor PSIs?
Surprisingly low.
Surprisingly low. I'm trying to think if there was a few other moments that I like had a like, oh, did I say that somewhere? And then it got released on that episode. I can't remember what some of the things were, but they were definitely like, thoughts.
My thing was with that episode, that was one of the episodes that I completely went on autopilot for when I was editing. So like, sometimes I'm really listening close. Other times it's just kind of there. And if I hear a swear word, like it's like, oh, I got to get that. So I must have been on autopilot. So when
the crane game thing.
What you know about that crane game?
What y'all know about that crane game?
Which we've had no fewer than at least 3 texts back and forth since then about the crane game.
Yeah.
One today.
I've got cranes, literal like cranes outside of both our living room window and our bedroom window because the 2 biggest construction projects in Sioux Falls history are happening both within outside one block of me. So I've got some prime crane game opportunity snaps that I've sent to Josh.
Nice. So Riley was commenting on just the level of unhingedness.
Oh, and there was also
control.
The long conversation about the Samoan war dance and whether it's cultural appropriation. And this was also the episode that Miles Kuiper, friend of the show, had texted us about that I didn't, because I texted and I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I'm sure that I was like trying to be careful with my words. And I was doing,
it was about taking advice from strippers.
Like, no, well, yeah, that was. And then in the same episode, there was like 20 minutes of me struggling to find the words for whether or not it's cultural appropriation still if it's done in a respectful way.
And the great thing about that is that I guarantee I cut out more than I left on those. On those they got left on the editing room floor. So shout out to Riley for pointing out how completely unhinged and intoxicated basically we were on that one.
And that was, I think, was that the second episode of the recording session or was that the first? Because I don't know if I want to listen to, well, the episode that you just released would have been,
second.
No. Because the episode that I listened to on the way back from Houston, that was a relatively calm one. That was, I think that was
first one,
episode 1. So maybe
the one we released today is the second
okay.
of the night. Yeah. So, and it's not too wild, but CJ Arnold likes to analyze our analysis. So he says, following up on a point in a pod 4 months ago, and probably don't remember talking about, you were confused why TMU invited Luke, but then focused on Vince. I think Vince is younger and can't be invited to campus yet. So this was a backdoor way to do it, which, yeah, is a detail that we hadn't thought of. Kind of fits in line with what we were saying, but that's a good detail to it. So thanks, CJ, for that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about college recruitment or how any of that works, but that I guess makes sense because Vince is a junior, but it seems weird that you couldn't invite a junior.
Yeah, because I know, like, I just had a prospective student in my office like yesterday or the day before who was a junior. So I don't know if it's different for athletics, but
yeah. Well, and Texas might be different from Iowa too. There might be different rules.
Here's one thing I do know. You and I don't know much about college sports, and other people know a lot about college sports.
Have I ever talked about my feelings about college sports?
No, we're not going into this. We're not going into this right now. Other than that, it's just our man Chris at Martin Blank letting us know what he's drinking and all that. So we love Chris. Thanks for shouting us out, Chris. Always appreciate it.
I appreciate
tonight
the episode that I kind of pushed you to finish because I knew I was going to go on this long drive back from Houston. He posted, he said, thing of beauty, glad to see you put up a new episode. I was considering a wellness check because it's been a minute. Yeah, we got Josh is busy right now. He's got a lot going on. So
finishing up the year.
We appreciate your what's the word? Your concern, your patience.
Yes, all of your patience. I see Chris tonight. I don't know if you saw this. He was sitting on his patio in a t-shirt on an early May night in Minnesota, drinking a Grain Belt Northeast. And if that's not doing Friday night the right way, I'm not sure what is. So shout out to you, Chris.
This is my first cutoff shirt while we're recording in a while because we're getting to that season.
Very nice. It was fine. It finally stopped. The wind finally stopped blowing for the first time in like a month today, or the last couple days. And I just got to tell you, you won't care about any of this. But this morning on my bird feeder, rose-breasted grosbeak, cardinal, mourning dove, blue jay, brown thrasher, house finch. No goldfinches this morning, but we have a lot of goldfinches. Red-crested woodpecker, both male and female. It was birder's paradise on the Kuiper's patio this morning. So, I got to credit the good weather for that. So, haven't seen a rose-breasted grosbeak in probably a year. So, it was a big morning for us.
Well, I think I speak for all of the Reliving the Lights listeners when I say, okay, boomer.
Hey, it was just like the podcast, it was another pandemic coping mechanism.
Sure. So, and I love a good cardinal. I love a good blue jay.
Oh my
goodness. Are they related? It sounds like
I mean,
they have similar vibes, right?
Yeah, definitely similar vibes. I guess I'm not far enough into birding to know whether they're like the same class of bird or whatever. But yeah, they got similar vibes. Blue jays are kind of jerks, and they scare other birds away.
Yeah, blue jays are assholes for sure. Yeah,
but I still take them. They can. I
think our generation is gonna be the first to do away with species and to bring in vibes.
Are those birds of the same vibe?
Cardinals and blue jays, definitely the same
vibes, 100%. All right, well. Those are our social media shout outs. So that leaves us with the lesson of the episode. So Anthony, what do you feel like we can take away? What's the moral? What's the lesson? What can we apply to our everyday lives?
When your life is in one place, I know that it can seem like that's all there is out there. But once you get out, you really do realize how much more there is. And I think it's important, whether you decide in the long run that you do want to be there or not, to explore a little bit more, to be a Tyra, see what else is out there.
That's right. Would you say that it's kind of like a drug?
You know what? I gotta say, man, I we already had mentioned this, but I really do think Tyra's dialogue, not only in the season 3 finale, which is still a very special moment for me in this series, but in this episode, man, she really brings it. And I think, yeah, it's a good description because especially this pandemic has really driven me more than anything away from Plaid. I've spent in the last 2 years less than 60 hours total in Plaid in the last 2 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And the more I'm away and the more that I have those like small voices kind of like keeping me in touch with it, I'm just like, man, like, and I understand that I'm only 2 hours away. I'm not even in, I'm still in South Dakota, you know, but it's still just like, it really is. Yeah. The way that Tyra described it, like, and I was never, even when I lived there, I was never really into the rumors and the drama and all of that stuff. Like I kept myself pretty distant from, but especially now, like the few people that I'm still in touch with back there outside of my family, like will occasionally be like, did you hear about? I'll be like, no, why would I care about what that person is up to? why can I possibly? Is their name Randall Brumbaugh or Zeke Heisinga? Then no, if it's not, I don't care what I don't care what they're up to. I went home for Easter. I wasn't even home for Easter. I went home on Friday night and came back on Saturday. I was there for like 20 hours total. And the talk of the town was that Plaid Food Center sold to County Fair. Don't know if you've heard.
I did not hear that.
And yeah, everybody I talked to couldn't stop talking about it. It was all anybody, all anybody wanted to talk about. And it's just like, my God, it makes me wonder. Somebody a few years ago asked me if I would ever move back to Plaid, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not a farmer or a banker, so like,
right?
Why? There's nothing there for me, like, yeah, there's literally nothing there for me. Every time I go back, there's a new small business closed, but like, especially now, like, it's just, man, it makes me wonder what the town looks like in 15 years, even,
right? All right, my lesson of the episode.
Yeah.
Be if you need a poignant moment in life, if you're feeling very reflective, if you feel like there's a lot of emotion going on, go on and go to Spotify or Apple Music, whatever your music streaming player of choice would be, and just go on and flip on Devil Town. And it's gonna enhance whatever is going on in your life at that moment. So I think that's it for the episode.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about this for the last month. It's been almost a freaking month since we recorded. I wanted to give a shout out to our listeners in the West Indies. Been thinking about that a lot.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because I've also been thinking about something since the last time we recorded, and I've really been meaning to tie it up and put a bow on it. And, I've gone back and forth on it of whether or not I should do it, but you just really put me over the edge.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to give a shout out to our listeners in Laos.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that. If you let me know if you change your mind on that, I will cut it out. Cut that. But
keep it in.
I support you. I support you in that.
Thank you.
Niall, if you're out there, let us know.
Yeah.
We're considering a wellness check at this point.
By the time that this episode is released, we're going to be done recording for sure, right? Like
probably, yeah.
There's no reach outs left to give. Niall, if you're hearing this, we probably at this point have reached out to you via social media to try to work out something.
First of all, to make sure you're okay. Second, to see if you'll come on the show. But so wherever you are listening, we thank you. Shout out to you, the true MVP of the episode, as always. It's been a pleasure as always, Anthony, talking Friday Night Lights with you.
Yes.
We will see you all next week for, my goodness, the final episode. No, the season finale, not the final episode of
not the
Reliving
final
the Lights.
episode of Reliving the Lights. Yeah.
The season 5 finale of Reliving the Lights, a Friday Night Lights Rewatch podcast.
Let's touch God this time, boys. Let's touch God.